Attention immigrants and mixed status families. A major Supreme Court ruling just shifted your life with almost no warning. Starting this spring, temporary protection could end faster than you expect. Last Friday, a 72-year-old named Patricia in Seattle got a terrifying call. Her employer said her work card might expire and payroll must suspend her. She sat silent, staring at the wall, feeling her chest tighten hard. Here's what separates people who protect their future from people who panic. Access to timely updates is the whole game, and you deserve that advantage. If you're watching but not subscribed, you'll miss the next urgent change. Fix that right now, because these rulings drop fast and hit real families. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't find out too late. Now let's talk about what just happened in plain everyday language. The court said the executive branch can end some temporary protections quickly. They also warned lower courts to stop freezing these decisions for years. That means programs labeled temporary may truly act temporary again. If you've built your life around renewals, this can feel like the floor moved. For years, many people lived here under short-term humanitarian permissions. Some families renewed again and again until short-term became a decade. Employers hired them, kids enrolled, rent got paid, and roots grew deep. Then lawsuits often slowed enforcement, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. This ruling changes that rhythm, and it changes your planning window. Here's what frustrates me, and it should frustrate you too. Both sides have been living in a legal fog that never fully clears. Families can't plan, businesses can't plan, and communities stay on edge. When rules stay frozen by court orders, people build lives on uncertain ground. Then a final decision arrives, and the shock lands on ordinary people first. This also makes me angry because the system rewards the best legal strategy. Some groups file cases where they expect a friendly judge and a fast freeze. A single court order can affect far more than one city or one state. Years pass during appeals, and the temporary clock keeps getting stretched. The court basically said, enough, and many judges can't stall as easily. Let me tell you about Patricia. She's 72 years old and lives in Seattle, Washington, near her grandkids. She cleans offices at night and helps her daughter with school drop-offs. One Monday, her HR manager asked her to bring updated documents by Friday. Patricia called a lawyer and was quoted $4,260 just to review options. 2 days later, she checked her mailbox and found a renewal notice returned. It wasn't approved or denied, but it was kicked back for a small mistake. Her hands shook and she reread the letter 3 times, missing every line. She tried calling customer service, then waited on hold for 70 minutes. When she finally reached someone, the answer sounded careful and non-committal. She hung up feeling invisible, like nobody could say what happens next. Then the pressure spiked. Her employer warned they might cut her hours to avoid penalties. A friend told her to just ignore it, but that sounded reckless. Another friend suggested a fixer who promised results for $1,275 cash. Patricia almost paid because fear makes bad deals look like lifelines. She had 10 days before payroll ran the next verification check. The clock felt loud, like it was ticking inside her kitchen. Patricia did something smarter. She found a nonprofit clinic and booked a screening appointment online. They told her to bring every paper, every ID, and every old renewal. They reviewed her history and spotted the exact issue causing the return. She paid $240 for document copies and certified mail tracking. 2 weeks later, her receipt notice arrived, and her employer kept her working. She still feels nervous, but now she has proof and a paper trail. The bigger point is this: you can be doing everything right and still get caught in confusion. And when the law changes, confusion gets weaponized by scammers and rumor. Some people will be fine, and others will face sudden work interruptions. Your goal is to move from panic to preparation, starting today. Quick pause. What state are you watching from right now, and what city if you're comfortable? Laws and local cooperation can differ, and I need your state context. Your comment also helps this reach people who are scared and searching. Type your state below, and I'll keep future updates relevant to you. Let me tell you about Thomas. He's 70 years old and lives in Denver, Colorado in a small rental duplex. He works part-time at a hardware store and helps neighbors fix fences. After the ruling, his manager asked for updated proof within 7 days. Thomas thought he had months, not a week, and his stomach dropped. That night, he opened his email and saw a policy change from corporate. It said expired authorization could trigger immediate unpaid leave. He checked his wallet, then checked his folder, and realized one card expired soon. He called a private attorney and was told the consult alone costs $395. He couldn't sleep because losing work meant losing rent money fast. By morning, he felt angry, not at people, but at the uncertainty. Then it got worse. His landlord posted a notice about rent increasing by $250 next month. Thomas calculated his budget and saw a gap he couldn't cover. A coworker offered a guaranteed solution package for $3,150. The pitch sounded slick, with big promises and zero written details. Thomas nearly said yes because he wanted control over something. He had 5 business days before his shift schedule could be frozen. Thomas paused and chose a safer path. He called his local legal aid office and asked for a referral list. He verified the lawyer's license through the state bar website. He also asked his employer what exact document types they can accept. That clarity kept him from paying a stranger with a guarantee speech. He spent $112 on certified copies and kept duplicates in a second folder. Today, he's still working, and he's saving $75 weekly for emergencies. Now let's talk about the emotional whiplash you might be feeling. Fear is normal when your job and family life feel tied to paperwork. Anger is normal when decisions land from far away with little explanation. But hope is also real because preparation beats surprise almost every time. If you focus on controllable steps, you'll feel your breathing slow again. A lot of people misunderstand what this ruling does and doesn't do. It doesn't magically deport everyone tomorrow, and that matters for your nerves. It also doesn't promise extensions, because the government can say no quicker. The biggest change is who gets the final say during these temporary programs. Courts may still review some issues, but blanket freezes are harder now. Real quick, if this is helping you understand what's happening, hit the like button. Likes tell the platform this is useful, and it shows it to more people. That means fewer families get blindsided by rumors and bad advice. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps people who feel alone. Let me tell you about Barbara. She's 69 years old and lives in Charlotte, North Carolina near her church. She cares for her husband and drives seniors to appointments twice a week. One afternoon, she got pulled over for a broken tail light. The officer was polite, but asked questions that made her heart race. Later, Barbara received a notice to appear for a check-in. It wasn't an arrest, but it felt like one in her mind. She called her cousin, then cried because she thought it meant immediate removal. A friend urged her to move states, but that sounded risky and expensive. She calculated travel and relocation costs at $2,140 and felt trapped. That's when anger hit because she'd followed every renewal instruction carefully. Then the situation escalated. A neighbor told her local officials might cooperate more with federal enforcement. She heard 3 different stories in 3 days, and none matched. Her husband's medication cost $386 monthly, and she feared losing coverage. She imagined their house empty, and her throat tightened from the thought. A stranger called offering protection papers for $980, payable by gift cards. Barbara realized scams bloom fastest when people are scared and uninformed. Barbara found a calmer route. She asked a trusted community group for a verified attorney referral. She brought her documents, wrote down questions, and refused fast-pressure sales. The lawyer explained what a check-in is and what it usually isn't. They created a folder plan, an emergency contact plan, and a budget plan. Barbara spent $560 on legal help, but avoided a $980 scam immediately. Now she feels steadier because she understands her process and her timeline. Here's the hard truth you deserve to hear. Even when enforcement resources are limited, your work authorization can still lapse. Employers may act faster than the government because they fear penalties. That can cause job loss first and immigration action later, which feels backward. So you plan for both because bills don't pause while courts argue. Another truth is the patchwork problem. Your daily reality can depend on your state and even your local county. Some places share information quickly and others limit cooperation strongly. That doesn't mean you relax or panic. It means you stay informed locally. If you move, update addresses correctly because missed mail causes real damage. Think of someone who needs this: your parent, your coworker, your neighbor, or the family next door. Someone might lose a job simply because they didn't understand the update. Share this video with them today, not next week, not when you remember. Text the link right now because one timely message can prevent a crisis. Let me tell you about William. He's 74 years old and lives in Atlanta, Georgia, in a modest brick house. He's worked in restaurants for years and now does prep work mornings. After the ruling, his supervisor asked if he can still be scheduled. William tried to sound confident, but his voice cracked as he answered. That evening, William's adult son showed him a scary social media post. It claimed deportations would start immediately, with no exceptions for anyone. William felt fear first, then embarrassment, because he didn't know what to believe. He called a number from the post, and a man demanded $1,230 up front. The man promised fast approval, but refused to give a written contract. William hung up, then felt ashamed for almost falling for it. Then came the escalation. His hours were reduced and his weekly pay dropped by $287. His car needed repairs totaling $918 and he couldn't push it off. A second caller said they could fix his file for $2,610 by tomorrow. William felt trapped between job loss and scam risk, with no clear door. He had 2 weeks before a lease renewal, and his credit score worried him. The stress showed up as headaches, and he stopped eating full meals. William chose a solid solution path. He asked his employer exactly what document date triggers schedule removal. He gathered his receipts, renewal notices, and every ID into one binder. He met with a reputable advisor and paid $310 for a detailed review. They helped him submit a cleanup date and build a backup income plan. William didn't gain magic protection, but he gained stability and clarity. He saved $2,610 by refusing scams, and he's rebuilding his confidence daily. Now you're moving into the hopeful part of this video. Hope doesn't mean the risk is gone, it means you have leverage. Your leverage is preparation, proof, and calm communication with the right offices. When you're organized, you make fewer mistakes, and mistakes cause huge delays. And when you avoid scammers, you keep money for rent, food, and legal help. Here's exactly what you need to do. I'm giving you 5 steps, and each one is simple and specific. You don't need to do everything today, but start with step 1 this week. Write these down on paper, not just in your phone, so you remember. If you feel overwhelmed, breathe slowly, because you can handle this. Ready? Let's begin, and I'll keep it plain and practical. Step 1. Find your current expiration dates for work and status documents today. Check the physical card, the approval notice, and any online account messages. If you can't find them, request copies from the issuing agency immediately. When you call, say, "I need my current expiration date confirmed in writing." Write the date on a calendar and set 2 reminders, 60 and 30 days. This step prevents surprise job loss, and it reduces panic-driven bad choices. Do this before the weekend because delays multiply fast when offices get busy. Step 2. Build a single folder that holds every immigration-related document you have. Include receipts, renewals, IDs, mail envelopes, and proof of address history. Scan everything and store it in a second place, like a secure cloud drive. If someone asks for cash, gift cards, or secrecy, that's a bright red flag. Ask any helper, "Are you licensed? And can you show it in writing?" This folder makes real professionals faster, and it makes scammers less powerful. Finish this step in one evening, because one missing paper can cost months. Step 3. Get a verified legal opinion before you file anything new or unusual. Use your state bar directory, legal aid referrals, or trusted community clinics. When you book, ask for the full price in writing, not vague estimates. In the meeting, say, "I want options, risks, and timelines in simple terms." Ask whether you qualify for any alternative pathway and what proof is needed. Even if you don't qualify, you'll learn what not to do, which matters. Schedule this within 14 days, because last-minute bookings are harder to get. Step 4. Talk to your employer before they panic and before rumors reach HR. Ask what document types they accept and what date triggers schedule changes. If they use a verification system, ask what happens during a pending renewal. Say, "I'm organizing my updates and I'll bring receipts by a set date." Don't argue or overshare, just communicate clearly and keep copies for yourself. This step can prevent sudden unpaid leave, which is how many crises begin. Have this conversation this week because payroll deadlines don't wait for feelings. Step 5. Make a family stability plan in case income drops or travel becomes risky. List who can pick up kids, who can access bills, and who has passwords. Choose an emergency contact outside your home and share your document location. Save a small cash buffer, even $20 weekly, because it adds up quickly. If you must travel, get professional guidance first, because re-entry rules can change. Tell your family, "We're preparing, not panicking," and repeat it when stress rises. Start this plan tonight, because calm planning beats chaos every single time. You might still be thinking, what happens next and how fast? The honest answer is, it depends on your category, your paperwork, and your area. Enforcement doesn't happen in one giant wave because resources are limited, but work authorization issues can hit quickly, and that's often the first punch. So you stay ready, stay documented, and stay away from anyone selling miracles. Let's review what we covered. A Supreme Court ruling strengthened executive power over temporary protection programs. It also reduced the ability of lower courts to freeze these endings for years. You learned why temporary can suddenly mean temporary again without much warning. You also learned how confusion creates scams, job loss, and family stress quickly. Hundreds of thousands of people could feel ripple effects across workplaces and cities. You now have information worth thousands, and you can use it with confidence. One final punch before you go. The biggest risk isn't always removal, it's the slow collapse of stability. When work stops, bills stack, and desperation makes scams look like solutions. I've seen people lose $1,180 to fake helpers in a single afternoon. That's why your folder, your dates, and your verified advice matter so much. You don't need perfect certainty, you need strong habits and fast verification. If this helped, here's what to do next. Subscribe so you catch the next update when new rulings or policies drop. Share this with someone who might be living on rumors and fear right now. Comment your state below, because it helps tailor updates to your real situation. Hit like if you want this push to more families who need it. And keep your folder updated, because today's proof becomes tomorrow's protection. You're not powerless here, as long as you stay organized and informed. Important disclaimer: this video is educational only, and it isn't legal, financial, or tax advice. Every case is different, and rules can change by state and by agency. Talk to a licensed attorney or accredited representative before acting on this. If money is tight, seek reputable legal aid and verified community clinics first. What works for one person may not work for you, so get guidance.